Welcome to Let Me Be Frank, Mike. Frank, do you smell that? Because I'm smelling rats all over the place.
Yes, this board is definitely, low lines, teams that are dominant over the teams that they're playing, and these lines are just simply low.
There's
Go ahead. You mentioned Detroit, Minnesota game. We can start
yeah,
right with
there's
that.
there's confusion all over the board, Frank. I mean, we can start with Detroit, Minnesota. How is a 10-2 team an underdog to a 5-7 team? I get it. The Lions are at home. I'm one of the biggest Lions supporters. You've known that from the very beginning. I mean, I'm a Lions fan.
Yes,
I try
I
not to be
agree.
a homer, but I see a lot of value in their lines. But this is just weird. And then you go to another game like Jaguars at the Titans. Jaguars, speaking of the Lions, just got blown the fuck out by these Lions. And now
And are you ready for this? The Tennessee has beaten them 11 out of the last 12 meetings.
they're only laying 3 at home, Frank. That means they're basically the same type of team on a neutral field.
They're asking you to take Tennessee.
I know
They're
it's just
begging you to take Tennessee.
rat. How about the Buccaneers at the 49ers? I get it. The 49ers are great. The Buccaneers haven't looked that good. But the 49ers are starting Mr. Irrelevant himself, Brock Purdy from Iowa State, the last pick in this year's NFL draft. And now you're going to tell me that they're going to lay 3.5 to the greatest quarterback of all time, who
you know what about this? I'm going to. You heard me blow a fuse last night on this Tampa game. How do you score 3 points the whole game, and with 3 minutes left, you release that ball under 3 seconds, like Brady can do, and he is a damn good quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but why did you sandbag the whole night against New Orleans? And when it came to a 16-3 game, 3 minutes left, you boom, 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 all the way down the field and scored 2 touchdowns under 3 minutes left.
I'll tell you what happened, Frank.
Tell me what happened.
I'll tell you what happened.
I'm not getting it, brother.
The Saints were playing a soft prevent defense because they were up 2 touchdowns with 4 minutes left, and they thought they had it in the bag. They thought it was nothing. People are not giving Tom Brady enough respect. I'm telling you right now, the Tampa Bay offensive line is terrible, and that's why this Tampa offense is not flowing. I mean, if you watch the game last night, Tom Brady has no time back there. But if the Saints want to rush 3 and drop 8 in coverage, that's fine. Tom Brady will find his spots. He'll go underneath. They have the playmakers to get the yards.
Bullets to these guys, and they were catching the ball. Though I got to admit, one of those touchdowns was an interference call, but I'll tell you what, that ball was right in that guy's hands. I mean, that guy, it was an offensive or a defensive interference, but I'll tell you what, he had that ball if that guy didn't grab his arms. So either way, Brady just looked unbelievably Brady with 3 minutes left. And I kind of agree with you. But look, New Orleans paid for it against Cincinnati. Remember, they did the same thing. They had that game, gave the ball back to Burrows. They're
not closers. They're not closers. That's
obviously not.
But then so that game right there, Frank, the Buccaneers getting 3.5 at the 49ers with a brand new quarterback coming out against a tough Buccaneers defense. I mean, that strikes me as a fishing line.
Did you tell me earlier that Mayfield signed up with Cisco?
Well, we'll get to that, Frank.
I don't think he's going to play.
Settle down. They said he might play. They said he might play.
Throw him to the wolves, brother.
Yeah, and then that Panthers Seahawks game. I mean, another game, Frank, where it's like, the Seahawks are laying 3.5 at home. So you're telling me on a neutral field that the Seahawks are barely better than the Panthers? I mean, I get it. They didn't have a great game last week against the Rams, but it was a divisional game. That's a tough game.
I put this game at -5.5. This game opened up at -6, and now it's 3.5. So they're taking Carolina when they got 6.
I have
up to 6.
I have Seattle at -6 as well on my board. So, but let's just jump right into it, Frank. But actually, one thing before we do jump into it, Frank, I do want to say we killed it last week. I had 1 pick, you had 3 picks, combined 4-0. Didn't hit the teaser because Tennessee looked like ass. Didn't hit the dog of the day because Miami didn't come through for us. So
I've been on a roll.
4-0 on straight picks. I mean, the dog of the Dakota dog of the week and the teaser of the week, that's for fun. It's nice to put a little bit of money.
We're trying to get some
other bets
high money on those things.
Yeah, the other bets are straight up
payoffs. What we're trying for.
Yeah,
I'm actually 11-2 the last 3 weeks on the podcast.
I know.
I
I
have
know.
been kicking some butt.
I know. We're both just killing the game right now. The lines are tight, but we're finding our spots and we're finding them good. We're not picking every
Yes.
game. We're just finding our spots. So let's
Yeah.
get into it, Frank. Let's start with finding our spots. And if you don't mind, I'll lead off first.
All right, go for it.
So I like 3 games, and I'm sure you guys are happy to hear that because these last couple weeks I've been very choosy in my spots. And although this seems like the week of the rat, as I'll call it, it just seems like, I like a couple other games here and there. And I'm telling you right now, I know that we say if it smells like a rat,
Looks like a rat.
it's ratting around,
There's a
but
lot of ratting going on.
I'm just gonna go for it here, Frank. You gotta follow your numbers, you gotta follow your gut. We say it all the time. This first game, though, not a rat game for me. I have the Raiders -6 at the Rams. Listen, I've said it since the beginning of the season. This Rams team has no home field advantage. So, sometimes they built the home field advantage into the line. The Raiders just beat the Seahawks, not last week, but the week before. And this Seahawks team played this Rams team in LA and was a 7.5 point favorite. So now you're going to give me a 1.5 less with a Raiders team that just beat a Seahawks team, is hot as hell, needs this game. Josh McDaniels needs this game to keep his coaching career alive in Las Vegas. Because I'm telling you that people, if he does not continue his hot streak, if you're winning games, people are going to forget about it. But
Oh, that's true.
he
You
started
you
this
end the
year
season with some
terribly.
wins. They forget, it was just a
But
tough season, but they remember the end of the season. That's for sure.
I'm living here in Vegas, Frank, and when I first got here, people were calling for his head because he's just hasn't performed. I mean, they got Devontae Adams,
They had
Derek Carr,
expectations with Carr and
Josh
Adams, and
Jacobs.
just
Listen,
didn't
this
happen.
this offense is dynamic. Do I like the secondary? No. But their last 2 games, you can see how resilient they are because they went down 14-0 2 weeks ago and then 10-0 last week against the Chargers, come right back, take a big 2-score lead. And then, it comes down a little bit late, but they always close it out. I like this Raiders team because this Rams team is doing one of 2 things. Like you said, Baker Mayfield just got picked up by the Rams. The Rams say they might start him. Well, guess what? We just saw Deshaun Watson, which we were on last week, with the Browns. We just saw him do terribly after not playing in an offense, not
You
practicing
kind
with
of
an
lucked
offense
out in
that
that
he
game
did.
because the defense definitely won that game for you. There's no
So
doubt.
this
He threw for like 131 yards. Ooh,
I know,
brutal.
I know.
Oh, ugly.
The Rams defense, though, that's how they're winning games because this offense isn't doing anything. Last week against the Seahawks, they beat them up pretty bad, but they had 2 turnovers at midfield, giving the Rams an easy score. Now, this Raiders team has been prone to some turnovers, but I think the offense is just too dynamic, and I don't trust Mayfield. And last week's quarterback, who actually looked pretty good, Wolford, for the Rams, he won't be playing in this game. We're going to be looking at Bryce Perkins, a Virginia quarterback that was terrible at Virginia. Don't know why he's really doing much in the NFL. Or Baker Mayfield, who hasn't even sniffed this playbook till maybe 30 minutes ago. So give me the Raiders all day, Frank, -6.
All right. What's
You
your
want to
next
throw
one,
a pick
buddy?
out there? Or you want me to keep?
No, I'll just finish up and then I'll go through mine.
Okay. So now we're getting to the rat games, Frank. My last 2 games.
I got some numbers. I got some numbers on this Tennessee game, actually.
I like Tennessee, Frank. Listen, I get it. Tennessee has a hefty lead in the AFC South, and I get it. Derrick Henry has not looked like the monster running back, the rushing champ that he has been these last couple of weeks, but he's played some tough teams. And, Tennessee really is one-dimensional with their run game. So when they play these tough, solid defenses, they can get away. Listen, we just saw the Lions, Frank, and I love my Lions. We just saw the Lions hang 41 on this Jacksonville Jaguars team and hold their offense to 14 points. That's insane. This Titans defense is better than the Lions defense. And let me tell you, Frank, this Titans running game is still a force to be messed with. Derrick Henry is still one of the rushing leaders in the whole NFL. And he can catch the ball out of the backfield. And I know a lot of people don't like Tannehill, but he's still a solid game manager.
The guy's been around for a while. He's been playing for
And
Tennessee.
actually, Frank,
he took Tennessee to the playoffs last year, didn't he? Pretty sure he did.
Yeah, I mean, this Tennessee team's solid. There's no doubt about it.
This is going to be a running game. What's the total in this game? Do you have any knowledge of
the total in this game? The total in this game is, I have it right here. Hold on. 41.5.
I would look at the under in this game.
I don't dislike that at all. I don't. This team for the Jaguars is just so hit or miss. You never know what's going to come out. I mean, they come out and they beat the Ravens 2 weeks
I don't
ago.
think Tennessee's
Last
going
week
to
was
throw
a
the ball
common
too
letdown
much.
spot. Huh?
I don't think Tennessee's going to throw the ball too much this game. I think they're going
Well,
to rely on Henry.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't throw the ball too much because the Jacksonville Jaguars are allowing 113.8 yards per game on the ground. And, Treylon Burks, probably the best receiver in Tennessee, is a little bit banged up. He'll probably play. You guys will have to check the watch or the injury report for that, but he'll probably play. So listen, I like these playmakers on this Tennessee team, and the thing I like the most is I like the coaching mismatch, Vrabel versus Peterson, and I love Derrick Henry. I love the ground and pound style game. I love the defensive game. I love Tennessee in this game. Give me Tennessee -3.5.
All right,
Now,
sounds
Frank,
good. I have no argument against any of your
I
picks
know
there
you never
today.
do because I'm the genius of this
Oh, will
podcast.
you
I know they call
stop?
it "Let me be Frank
Stop.
Mike," but it really
Oh,
should be
what? No.
Mike
Oh,
and Mike and Mike
you
with
wait
a
till I
little bit of
burn
Frank.
you on this Eagle game, brother.
Listen,
After
Frank,
you gave me some
I didn't take
hell
that bet.
last week. You gave me some
I
hell
didn't take
last
that
week,
bet.
and I know you called me Sunday and you asked me what we decided on the line, and you were talking me giving you 7, and I said no, I
You
want
should have
4.
gave me 7, Frank.
No kidding. And I said that last week, I said that they're going to beat them by 14. I was confident on Philadelphia, and the Sharps were all over Tennessee. I mean, there was just money kicking butt on Tennessee last week, and they got burned also. Casinos made some money on that game last week. There's no doubt about it. But like I says, I officially announced it last week. Eagles are going to Super Bowl. They just look unbelievable. They just got back their defensive tackle, Josh Davis, I think his name is. Yeah. It's going to be big. These guys are going to be rolling. I think they're going to be rolling the rest of the season. But we'll talk about that later when I get to my picks. But yeah, I burned you last week on that Philly Tennessee game, buddy. So don't tell me you're the genius over here. I'm the genius. I'm just kidding, buddy. All right.
About that, I lost you there for a second.
Oh, good. I gave you hell and you couldn't come back.
Oh my
I
God.
I said, I'm the genius here in this show here, but now I'm just busting your balls, buddy. All right, let's just move on.
Yeah, sorry about
Go
that.
ahead. You had one more.
You finally got some clean shots on me, Frank, because I would have came back and embarrassed you and made you look bad in front of everyone. So.
I got you this time, brother.
You got lucky.
I'm missing out on that buffet though, because I'm going to be in Vegas next week.
Yeah, you missed out on it. You're lost.
We are going to be doing the show out of Las Vegas next week.
Look at that.
I have to go back
all
to
types
town.
of things up.
So,
but
all right,
the last game I like, Frank, before we get to your picks, which are probably terrible anyways, like they always are. No, I'm just kidding. You've done great the last couple of weeks, but I got Seattle -3.5. Listen, we say it every single time. I know you're scared of Seattle, Frank. I know you're shaking your head, but listen.
Burn my ass all damn year.
CenturyLink Field is a place to be messed with. This Panthers team has shifted in. They've fired their coach. They've gone through 3 different quarterbacks. Sam Darnold's not it. Hate to break it to you. He's not a good quarterback. The only thing this team really has is Deontay Foreman, and he's not an elite running back. He's solid. He gets the job done, but if you can just game plan against him, which the Seattle defense, which has stopped Barkley, stopped a lot of good running backs, they're going to game plan
until
for this
they
guy.
met Jacobs.
This Panthers team is not going to score a lot of points
Oakland,
against the Seahawks team. And I get it. The Seahawks lost a ton of their running backs last week. We don't know if Kenneth Walker is going to play.
Yeah,
we don't know if DJ Dallas is going to play.
I think that represents the line because, they had opened up at -6. It's down to 3.5.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on with their running back situation.
So,
but to me, it doesn't matter. If you watch Seahawks football, you see that Kenneth Walker is actually a very inefficient running back. He does not do – it's true, Frank.
I don't know about that.
He doesn't do great things consistently, but he'll break off a 40-yard run, third, fourth quarter after they're up.
Enough to get you in that red zone, I guess.
And that's what he does. He can't rip off 5-yard games every single run. He'll get 2 yards, 3 yards, 2 yards, 3 yards, a yard, and then he'll break off for 40. And listen, he's explosive. I'm not denying that. But I think DJ Dallas, who I've always been a fan of out of Miami, is another explosive running back. And as long as he plays, I think that they have something good back there. So I'm not worried about the running back situation. And this Seahawks offense has too many weapons to only be a 3.5 point favorite against a pitiful team like the Panthers. So give
Yeah,
me
Gino's
Seahawks
got it, boy.
all
He's got
day,
it. And
every
he should
day.
tear up Carolina. Okay. I'm not going to argue with, I really have nothing bad to say about any of your 3 picks this week. So
I know, I know. It's
oh, stop,
it's
stop.
tough
I don't
being a
want to,
genius,
man,
Frank. It's
your
just
head's
tough.
going, boom, boom, boom. You've been in Vegas only, what, 2 weeks and your head's already getting too huge.
What can I say? If I'm
What
I'm a
can I
winner.
say? I'm a winner. All right, brother. I'm going to go with my picks here. I love Cincinnati. Now, you know, I'm a Cleveland boy.
Sorry.
And very funny. And I love this conference when Pittsburgh's playing the Baltimores and the Cincinnati's are playing the Pittsburghs and the Clevelands and Cleveland embarrassed Cincinnati earlier this year. I mean, Chubbs had a field day. It was like just poor Cincinnati just couldn't do no right. But you know what? Cincinnati has definitely picked their game up. Again, a conference game. They probably have this game marked on the. I'm almost feeling like you did last week with your Cleveland pick, that I should just be betting Cincinnati and just walking away. I mean, what was it? What's the freaking line on this game? -6.
It's -6 for the Bengals.
-6 under a touchdown. You gotta be kidding me. With Deshaun Watson, who 131 yards, and I mean, they're going to be running the ball. Cleveland's got no choice. Okay, and they're going to rely on their defense again. I mean, their defense stopped Cincinnati last time. I mean, but I just don't see it. Do not see it in Cincinnati. It's just not happening. And Cincinnati, you know, over the years, Cleveland's owned them. They've owned Cincinnati. 4 of the last 6 games in the series was won by Cincinnati, and easy. You can attest that to Burrows for sure. And are you ready for this little stat? One of the past 10 games has gone under. I think I said that right.
It sounds like you don't even know your own stats, Frank. Listen,
I got it right around. Wait, no. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, you're figuring that out.
Oh my God.
When you're figuring that out, let me tell you what I think about the game, Frank. Let me tell you what.
6 out of the past 10 games. This game's gone under a majority of the time. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, that plays right into the Browns' hands. Listen, I don't really like this pick from you, Frank, because this is a divisional game. We just saw a big favorite like the Seahawks, you know, almost lose the game outright to a, let's just face it, not a good Rams team. And you know,
but it was in LA.
Yeah, but
and it's a conference game. I don't
LA
care.
doesn't have a home crowd, Frank.
I don't care. LA, when you're playing a conference game, when you're at home, I don't care if you have third string players. You're going to pick it up.
There was probably more Seahawks fans there than there was LA fans.
Do we have to do this again? You do not like my set. We back to a buffet Big Mac burger bet
we again? Might be, Frank. I'm not saying, listen,
I don't have to buy a Cincinnati hat. I mean, I got this Eagles hat because I'm telling you right now, Eagles are going to Super Bowl. And
whoa,
you ate cake last week and you're going to eat cake again with
Frank,
Cleveland.
I've been beating your butt in these little side bets all year long. Don't even go there because I did not take the side bet. And you are now like, oh, I'm the god that walks on water. Chill out over there, Frank. Let me tell you what's up with this Browns.
It's very chilly in Washington anyways. Okay, let's just move on.
wait. I want to talk about this Browns game real quick.
Okay,
I don't want my take, but I'm going to give it to you anyway, Frank. I don't hate the Cincinnati pick. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
You didn't hate the Philly Tennessee game last week either.
But I do want to say, like you said, this game goes under. It plays into the Browns' game plan. And Deshaun Watson did do terrible last week. The Browns as a whole did terrible last week. They didn't have a single offensive touchdown. They had 3 defensive touchdowns / special teams touchdowns, 1 punt return, and 2 defensive touchdowns. That's terrible. Listen, but there's a reason that this line's low. It's a divisional game. The Browns are going to get up for this game. They're going to run the ball down the Bengals' throats, one of the worst rush defenses.
Maybe they can keep Burrows off the field, but if you ain't keeping Burrows off this field, I'm telling you, and we're looking at same situation of fourth quarter. Even if Cleveland's ahead 3 points in the fourth quarter, they're going to score at least 2 touchdowns on this team. They're going to score. I'll bet you, I don't know what the odds are, who scores the first touchdown. And I mean, FanDuel's got all kinds of freaking numbers, but that might not be a bad bet either. Cincinnati scored
Maybe-
first.
Maybe not, Frank, but I'm telling you
But
right
it's high
now, this
odds.
Browns team is going to be dangerous against the Bengals. The Browns aren't making the Super Bowl. They're going to want to smash these divisional teams in their mouth, and getting 6
Not
points
on a
it seems
revenge
like a lot.
game. Not gonna happen.
You
Not
know, I
gonna
love the
happen.
revenge angle, Frank. I just don't know about it here. But
And
I'll
like
let you
I
get to
said,
your
I
next pick.
live in Cleveland. I'm telling you, these conference games are brutal. And when they're at home, and especially off of getting embarrassed the last time, I went down to Cincinnati's had this game marked on their calendar, just like in the beginning of the year with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati in the first game of the season. They remember that. Pittsburgh remembered that brutal beating from last year. Anyways, let's move on. Are you done with this, with your?
Yeah,
your
I'm
take
done
there?
with it. I'm done with it.
Done
You
with
won't
this?
agree with me. It's okay.
Oh, hell no. Like I said, this might be my only bet. But I'm gonna go with some dangerous games. I love Phil again against Cincinnati, the Giants. But this is a tough game too. This line is high. Giants do get up for Philadelphia. Now you're
Are
arguing.
you
with the
telling me that
Cincy
you're going
Cleveland-
to take Philly on the road, laying 7 against the
and,
Giants?
and they're 1-4 on the road against the spread this year. How you
Frank,
like that for
you-
balls, huh?
You are
How
actually
you like that?
crazy.
I got balls this
What-
big, brother. I'm taking
what are you-
Philadelphia. I'm taking Philadelphia the rest of the season. I don't care who they play. I don't care who they play.
I mean, that's just a mistake, Frank. I mean, if you want
A
to
mistake for
if
them,
you want to
it's
throw
not
your
gonna
money away,
happen.
Frank, just give it on over here. I'll take it. I'll
hey.
take it and actually make some
Well,
money
you
with
know
it.
me. I'm going to get some juice down. I'm going to juice this down again.
It doesn't even matter, Frank. We're going right back to the same thing we were with the Browns. This is a
Oh, I know.
divisional
This
game.
is the only time you got an argument with. Forget the Browns game. The same argument you have on the Browns game, you can have with this Giants game, because I can tell you right now, the Giants could keep this game close.
Yeah, the Giants
They-
are going
they-
to keep this game close. They're
they-
at home. They're fighting for a playoff spot. They're fighting for the division crown still, and
Oh,
they want this
hell.
game
Well, and what,
bad.
Giants have lost what, the last 3 or 4 games straight? And they look
Well, they
like
tied last
crap
week.
against, you can't get a field goal in overtime against Washington at home.
I know.
Yeah,
but
I
listen,
know. Come on, I need some argument here, bro, because you ain't giving
What
me
do
any
you mean,
argument on the
Frank?
Giants.
All I need
right
is
now.
you see it every single week in the NFL. It doesn't matter if it's Houston against Tennessee, if it's Houston against Jacksonville. Houston's freaking terrible, Frank. It doesn't matter who it is. These divisional games, these teams get up for, period, point blank. They want to smash the other team in the mouth. They want to take them downtown, and they want to beat the crap out of them. Listen,
But
the
you know
Giants are
what?
at home
But
here,
you know-
Frank, and they want this game with Philly, and you're going to give me a full touchdown? Okay. It might be
No,
time to
I
bring
think
out the
it's
buffet
six
bet.
and a half now.
Bring out the
right?
buffet bet.
Bring out that buffet. I think
Bring it
6.5. You just told me this earlier. It was at 6.5, but it's on minus 120. So they're wanting money on this game.
Well,
the-
I'm looking
the-
at
they're
7
tempting
right
us.
now. I'm looking at
Oh, the
7.
FanDuel goes back to 7
Yes.
because you told me it was 6.5 at one.
Well,
minus
now it's
120.
7, Frank. Get it together.
They heard
Get
you
it
talking.
together.
They must be listening to this podcast somewhere.
They must be. They heard you bet it, and then they were like,
because they're afraid of me. That's why.
"Oh, is that what they are?"
No, I'm just
11-2 in the last 3 weeks, and then
Yeah,
now,
no, maybe my head's getting a little bit big too.
yeah, it's.
All right, so
That's why you have to
I'm gonna
cover it
go.
with a
You
beanie.
you done busting my yards? Are you?
I'm sorry. You know, I just love it. It's my favorite
Yeah.
thing to do.
But you know what? When I win, I love coming back the next week and just making you eating some cake.
Well, you know what?
With-
It's
with
going to
that
be
ugly
great that
looking
you're here in
frosting.
Vegas, because after this buffet bet, I'll be eating so good.
Oh, I didn't make no bet yet. Like I said, this is a dangerous game. I'm going to give you my last game, and you're going to think I'm even crazier than
Oh
than I
my
was
gosh,
before.
Frank. Go ahead.
I know
Shoot
you
your
heard it.
shot. Shoot your shot.
All right, you are you ready? I mean, it's
Mhm.
ugly. It's ugly.
I know it's going to be. Go
And,
ahead.
and what I've been doing this for 30 years, and 30 years in Vegas, and
Frank, are you going to tell
every-
us your pick or reminisce on the past?
every year. Yeah, I like reminiscing about Vegas. That's my town, brother. I was born to gamble. That's what I did when I moved to Vegas in the 80s. But anyways, when you see a high line, 16, 17 points, the sharps just jump on it. It always goes down
Oh
immediately.
my gosh, Frank.
Yes. Don't fall off your chair there, brother. It's an ugly bet. Hey, look, a couple weeks ago, I had Miami giving 14.5 or whatever.
And they almost blew it. They almost blew it.
I won, didn't I? 30-15. And you know what? I think you ate cake that game too, by the way. You couldn't give
No,
me shit
Frank,
on that.
listen, you don't
But-
lay
but you
17
hit-
points in the NFL. Period, point blank. You don't
I agree.
do
I'm
it.
not arguing. I'm not going to argue with you on this one because it's an ugly bet. But I think Dallas is going to beat them like they did the Colts. I'm looking 48.
They scored 33 points in the fourth quarter
There's
only
only one
because
fear
the
I have
Colts turned
about
it
this
over
game.
4 times.
The only one fear I have this game is Dallas might be looking ahead. I think they play Philly next week. I'm not sure. I know I
I'm
looked at,
sure-
I
I'm
know this was the only fear I
do.
had in this game.
Listen, Frank,
Are they
we don't
playing?
even
Are
have
they
to go
playing
into this
Philadelphia this week?
because
Do you know?
they play Philadelphia week 16, I believe.
Oh, okay. So I don't know. I thought they had.
They might play
had
I think they might play the Giants next week.
Oh, then there's no problem.
Oh my gosh, Frank, listen. Okay. I don't even want to go into this. You just listen, ladies and gentlemen. You don't lay 17 in the NFL. There's just too much for a
No,
back
you do
cover.
not. You
People
do
are going to
not.
be pulled out in the third or fourth quarter if they're up 24.
Oh, I don't believe.
And it's
you
going to
can
be a
put pulled
backdoor
out football
cover.
anymore.
You'll be lucky to push this game, Frank. If you want a buffet bet on that one, let's just double it up. Actually, just make it steakhouse.
No,
Because
no, no.
geez
We're not.
Louise.
We're not gonna. I mean, I'm betting some ugly games this week. With Philly and Dallas. But like I said, maybe if I was just smart, I would just take my Cincy game because that is
you
bottom
should
line
just
the best
take
bet
that.
on the board this week.
I don't think it's the best bet on the board, but you should take it
Best
because
bet
it's way
on the
better
board
than
for
whatever
me.
the garbage you just threw out.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see which garbage we.
Let's just get to our Dakota dog of the week before I just lose my mind on you, Frank. So our Dakota dog of the week is going to be, I'm going to take these Bucks. Listen, I'm telling you, it's a fishy game. It's not one of my picks for the week. Like I said, this is kind of a little bit more for fun, but I like the Bucks here on the money line. I don't trust Brock Purdy. The Bucks defense is good. It's one of the best defenses in the NFL. And I
don't
think
trust that sandbagging piece of crap, Brady.
listen,
either, so
Brady was always a San Francisco fan, loved Joe Montana. I think he's going to want to
Okay.
come in there and
We'll
win a
see.
game. And they need to
We'll
win
see.
the game because the NFC
This
South
one
is
I can
wide
argue
open.
against. I'm not a Brady sandbagging piece of crap. Anyways, even though he's probably the best quarterback.
And
in
then
history of
Frank,
football.
your Dakota dog of the week is going to be what's it going to be, Frank?
My dog of the week. Didn't we just discuss this? And I said I didn't like anything. Couldn't even find a dog on this damn board today.
Come on, Frank. You know you can have one dog.
Did I say Tampa?
No, I said Tampa.
You said Tampa. That's
Oh, you
right.
took the Vikings. Jeez. Man, I hang out with you way too much because I'm starting to get the Alzheimer's that you have.
Alzheimer's
But-
is good. It's good. It's not good when you go to the bar and you can't remember what beer you ordered. But I
that
love
doesn't
hard
sound
beer.
very good, Frank.
I love hard beer though.
Well,
When I get out
anyway,
of here, I'm
we got-
going to the Horse and Cow and get me a hard beer. Do you miss the Horse and Cow now that you're back in
no,
Vegas?
I don't miss the horse and cow. We got 80
You know,
times
there's
bars
there's
here.
like one Irish bar left, and it's bought by PJ whatever. He's serving chicken wings now with whatever. I'm not gonna.
Anyway, Vikings money line, Frank. And,
All right, let's.
and
I got me off the subject
Buccaneers
again.
money line is going to pay you plus 450 if you parlay them together. And then our
Okay.
teaser of the week, Frank's going Bengals. I'm going Raiders. Listen, we've already talked about these games. We're bringing them down to all they have to do is win. I agree on a teaser. Love the Bengals. They're going to want to win this game. We all know I love the revenge factor. And the Raiders, listen, it's going to be a 95%
All
Raiders.
that crap you give me.
No, well, if you're going to
All right,
give
that's all right. We're not gonna do great. Come on, we got to wrap this up. So let's not
Okay,
start this
okay.
argument all over again. All right.
Anyway, geez,
You
Frank gets
ready,
me
brother?
so fired up. So fired up.
I do love getting you fired up.
But it's been a
well, no, before we go, we got one more thing to talk about.
What?
What
Make
if
it quick.
if Michigan gets by TCU in this big because they got the defense, but and Harbaugh is just all over everywhere talking like he's like the king of the world right now. But I would love to see Ohio State play Michigan in the championship game.
And then Michigan crush them again. Oh, that would be
it
so
won't
good.
be a buffet bet, brother. You know, they released the offensive coordinator for Ohio State, and I think they released their cornerback coaches too. Their whatever.
Yeah, after getting torched by Michigan, then you probably should make some changes. But
Oh,
listen,
I
Frank,
without a doubt.
I actually do
We
have
talked
something to
about that
tell
last
you
week.
because you brought this up, but I wasn't going to tell the people. I'm actually going to probably be at that college football playoff game, Michigan TCU in Glendale, Arizona. I will be there New Year's Eve.
Oh, I was going to talk about that too. I've been to 2 Fiesta Bowls games in my life. Back in the day when Notre Dame was the king and they played Florida State. It was awesome. I'm going to give you a little hint here. What I did was some friends got me a ticket for the first year that I did this. I flew in at 6 o'clock in the morning, went down there. They had some kind of, I was walking around seeing I used to buy and sell tickets at stadiums years ago.
Frank, you better make this quicker.
Okay, I'm gonna make it real quick. And they had a place I walked in, they were serving food for like $6, all the food you can eat. It was awesome.
Well, we're not in 1950 anymore, so
went to the game. The seats I had were unbelievable. I was where they came out of the hall there, and I'm looking over the wall, and those Notre Dame guys were like huge, and it was a great game. And then I left with 2 minutes left in the game, got back on the airplane, got home for the Orange Bowl, and I think Ohio State was in the Orange Bowl, and I got home for that game.
Wow.
And I did the
Sounds
same
like an
thing the following
action-packed day.
Oh, no, I'm telling you what, it's like $4 to pick up they got these little carts or whatever. They take you.
Yeah,
from
Frank,
the
I'm sure it was
station.
$4 in 1976.
Oh, it's probably gonna be like $8 now. You're gonna have fun.
No, it'll probably be like $100. Anyway,
Oh,
Frank,
no,
we
no.
don't
Enjoy
have
it.
time for your
I hope
stories
you
for
have
you to
fun.
reminisce on the past.
I
We got to
love
get
talking about
going.
the past.
People have
All right.
stuff to do. I
All right,
appreciate
you're
everyone.
ready.
I appreciate everyone watching the podcast. Thank you to John. Thank you to Frank. Thank you for everyone that watches the podcast, that subscribes. Give us a like, give us a comment, talk to us.
Yes.
Look out Saturday.
Put some comments
Saturday
out
night for
there,
our picks.
guys. Tell us how bad his picks are this week.
Dude, they wouldn't. Saturday
All
night,
right,
we'll come out with our
hey,
official picks. And
we're having fun. That's what this is all about. So
yeah. Thank you to
Okay.
everyone for watching, and let's cash some tickets.
Let's do it, buddy.